We all know how to connect with people, right? If we see them in the store, we see them in our house, we make eye contact, we talk to them, we might shake their hand, might give them a hug. It's sort of simple to connect with people if you're in person with them. But what happens if you are trying to connect with people over a distance, like to do distance healing? What happens then? In this video, I give some drills and some exercises that help you have a little more confidence that you're actually connecting with them. And I'm excited to share this with you because when I gave this teaching in the Spirit Gate Cancer Support Facebook group, the energy in the field was palpably more loving, more connected, more intimate, more alive. And I didn't even, none of the drills had anything to do with love, but you could just almost feel the loving healing emerging from the ground substance of existence. So enjoy. All right, so distance healing is profoundly, profoundly simple. And when you get down to the very, very basics of it. But then there's this whole cloud of tweaks. So that's what I usually teach about, is I teach about the tweaks. But I was reminded of how simple, complicated things can be by my engineer brother. So last week I had a lot of mechanical failures. My van broke down, and they fixed it, and then they didn't fix it, and one thing led to another, and it ended up being enormously, enormously complicated. And then when I finally got out of the repair shop, I discovered that they had tipped my van on the lift, and now the battery wasn't working. And it's not like a dealership kind of thing for them to fix. And I thought, oh, I can fix this myself. It's easier than, paying $300 an hour for somebody to figure out a whole custom system. It felt like it'll take them a day just to figure it out, and then they can fix it. It just felt like I could do it myself. So I went to my brother's house. So my electrical engineer brother, I said, I just need you to supervise me. I need you to kind of hold my hand while I remember that, okay, black goes on black and red goes on red. And I actually know a lot about the equipment in my van. And then he reminded me, he says, well, there's also series and parallel. But other than that, you got it. Other than that, you just need to know your appliances a little bit. And I said, well, I think I know quite a bit. I have a charge controller, I have a solar controller, I have breakers, I have fuses, I have big wires, I have thin wires, I have, what else do I have down here? Inverters and, wires that do this, that, and the other, and have various connections that have to be, that I had to learn about. So I know a lot more about electricity than, and my system than most people. Anyway, so what does this have to do with distance healing? I was nervous because I'm not an electrician, so I'm not very good at it. And you might be nervous about distance healing because maybe you don't know how to do distance healing. Or maybe now it suddenly matters because you or a loved one is sick and you need it to work. Kind of like I needed my electricity to work. And then so anyway, my brother just kind of kept reminding me. He said, it's just black on black, red on red, breakers, you can test the voltage, it's right there. You can troubleshoot it if you go slowly and carefully enough. And I thought, that's like distance healing. Distance healing is really kind of like electricity is just, there's a positive and a negative to electricity. With distance healing, you just connect somehow. So it's like you just connect the wires and then you watch. And then you change something if you don't see anything happening. And it's this polarity is dramatically, it's a dramatic example in electricity because kind of everybody knows the wires have to like do a current. But with distance healing, where's the current, and how do you know you're connected? Like what do you look for? So I'd like to teach you how to connect right now and how to know if you're connected. And it's so friggin' simple that you're going to say, what is she even talking about this? So I'd like you to think of what your bed looks like. All right? And I'd like you to imagine what your bed looks like. Does it have a pillow? Does it have sheets? Does it have blankets? Is it high? Is it low? Is it clean? Is it dirty? Is it made? You know, like what does your bed look like? And you might be able to just glance over at your bed because you're in the same room with it, but you might have to use your imagination. But either way, when I asked you to think of the bed, my sense is you had a mental picture of some sort or a visual picture of some sort. And so I would say that you successfully imagined or connected with the idea of your bed. Okay? And if I ask you to think of the soles of your feet, you could wiggle your toes, you could press your feet into the floor a little bit if you're not lying down, but you could connect to the soles of your feet with your awareness. Okay? And I could say, what time of day is it? And you notice what time of day it was. Is the sun out? Or maybe you have to look at a watch because you're not outside. But what is it, day? Is it night? Like what's going on there? So you actually go to that place where you will know what time of day it is. Is it just the watch? Is it daytime? Is it nighttime? Like how precise do you need to be? These are all, you just sort of notice that's what you're doing. Does she mean 12:56 p.m. or just sometime afternoon, or does she need night and day? Like there's a lot of discrimination when I say what time is it right now, and your mind goes into a series of questions. But either way, you somehow some way connected to the idea of what time of day it was. And I would say that when you use your imagination to find something, so you found the thought of the time of day, you found the awareness of what was going on the bottom of your feet, and you found your bed, that is a spiritual activity. That's thinking. And thinking is a spiritual activity. And it's not necessarily religious, but it requires an apparatus, maybe. They say, like Rupert Sheldrake says that your memory doesn't really live in your brain. Your brain's like a receiver of it. But so to connect with the people and the animals on our list, on our distance healing list, it's as simple as thinking about them, thinking the thought. And then if you're new to distance healing, what you usually do is you say, am I connecting right? Don't I need to visualize them very hard? Sky the cat. I don't know what Sky the cat looks like. How can I connect to that? So there's a little bit of reaching for it. And so that reaching is the same thing as you reaching to remember, reaching for the bottoms of your feet, reaching for the time of day. Like, does she mean down to the second or down to the half day? Like, there's like decisions to be made as to how to connect. And what's so great about group distance healing is we're all doing it slightly different. So when I say Sky the cat, who happens to be the first one on the list, we all connect with Sky the cat differently. And it's almost like a flower. Like we all have different angles and different imaginations and different ways of connecting to Sky the cat. And probably only two of us really know Sky the cat, Sky's owner and me. And I happen to know Sky the cat, right? But most everybody else hasn't met Sky the cat. And so you have to do something else to connect with Sky the cat. And I would like to give you permission to just let that connection be whatever it is, but don't make it too rigid. Don't say, oh, this is how I connect to Sky the cat, and this is how I connect to cats, and this is how I connect to dogs, and this is how I connect to people. I would have a sense of wonder and curiosity. So if I told you to connect to the awareness of the bottoms of your feet, you can kind of just do that. Okay, those are the bottoms of my feet. Yep, there they are. Or you could say, wonder how the bottoms of my feet are doing right now, and wiggle them a little bit and notice what you notice that's new about the bottoms of your feet. And what will happen is you'll get 90% more data if you're curious about the bottoms of your feet than if you say, okay, those are the bottoms of my feet, done, check. It's sort of like prejudice. Like if I Sky the cat, okay, cat, done. Like you don't know what kind of cat Sky is, so you sort of like, there's a little piece of wonder and humility in our connection to Sky the cat. Like we don't really know what Sky's looking like or doing right now. So then, since it's distance and we don't know Sky the cat, I'm laughing because I usually don't talk about individuals on the list, but I guess Sky, it's your turn today. You got it because you're the first one in on the list. And that if we use our imagination as an organ of perception, not just, okay, I'm going to imagine a cat. Is it a black cat? Is it a lion? Is it like what snow leopard? Like what does this cat look like? You can ask your imagination that as I say these names, and Sky is on the list, but so is Deborah and Muffin Top and Janet and Ming, all these different names, you can ask for a symbolic image to come to you. All right? And this will have some sort of accuracy. So if I ask you to, like if I'm thinking of a person, okay, I'm thinking of a person, and her name is Mary. Okay, Mary is a fairly common name, but if I'm thinking of Mary, and you're trying to also think of that same Mary, and you don't know which Mary it is that I'm talking about, if I was to have a clear picture in my mind of what Mary looks like, and you were to just wonder what Mary looks like, and write it down or describe it, there would be a statistical significance. There would be a wide variation of old and young, but there would form a pattern, because we're all psychic. We're all able to connect mentally with each other, and we're doing it all the time, whether we're conscious of it or not. So when I say the names, I want you to, with this distance healing that we're going to start in a minute, I want you to ask your imagination to give you a picture of each person. And it can be detailed, it can be not detailed, so you can't like work on the image very well. You don't have time. You just have time to get an impression. So I'll say Sky, and you'll see a cat, and you'll just like, okay, that's the cat. And then I'll say Deborah. Then you don't know what Deborah looks like, but just ask your imagination to give you an image of her, knowing that that image is not 100% accurate, probably, but what it will do is it will be an astral address. It will be a way of connecting to her. If you're asking for the connection, it's almost like it doesn't even matter if the image is symbolic or otherwise. It will connect. If we're busy just saying, okay, Suzanne's doing the names and I hope I'm going to be healed, you're not helping as much as you can, and I need you to help. So I want you to connect with your imagination, symbolically in your imagination as I read the names. Okay? All right. Good. And then I want you to tell me later if the process of reading the names, when we get to that part of the visualization, felt different to you, if you felt like you were more connected. So the way you connect is you pretend that you're connected, and then you just receive whatever information you have. One more example of this is I have a friend who can see through walls. She's that psychic. She says she can't read a book on a table, but she can tell that there's a book on the table in a room that she's never been in that's on the other side of a wall. So she was to go into like a hospital or something. She would be able to tell if kind of what was going on in the other room. And I said, how did you get that precise? And she says, I just pretended I could do it. It was a game. And after a while, I started being more and more accurate. So it got to be more and more fun. And that's how I developed my psychic abilities, is I just played with it. Because we really can see through walls. We really can see what Sky the Cat and Deborah and Muffin Top and Monkey all look like. Okay? And in the meantime, we will be inaccurate visually, but we will have spiritually connected to them. Okay, good.